Next story is related to the same place and time and people, but was my companion, and it's a huge story for me just to show. I have this philosophy is that I can get along with anyone. Doesn't matter their personality, but I can at least connect or get along with anyone. Um, and I remember before I was being transferred, he was my third companion. Yeah, he was my third companion, and I heard his name before I got transferred to the area, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, really?" And I was like, "What? What? He's probably really cool." Ooh, I tell him their name, and his always reactions were the same. "Oh no, I'm sorry, Elder. Good luck," and "Oh, I feel bad for you." Well, preface to this as well, a lesson from our teachers in the MTC, Hermano Valladares. I think it's him, told us something very important, and that was, don't ever think in your mind, I don't want to be with that elder, because the Lord's going to hear it, and he's going to put you two together. Come to find, I think it was my first zone conference, I saw an elder there, no idea what his name was, but I was like, oh my gosh, that elder just is so rambunctious, I do not want to be his companion. And right after I thought that, I was like, oh my gosh. And then Hermano Valladares' advice came right back to me. And I was like, oh, I just thought it. But I was like, no, it can't happen, because I was like, I don't mean it. And I just kind of brushed it away. Well, I've been hearing about this elder, and I won't say his name, but like, he's a friend now. But at the time, I was just like, oh my gosh. And everyone was just like, oh, good luck, elder, right? I was like, who is this elder, and why does he have such a bad rap? And I'll never forget getting to my area on the bus, and the doors open, and there's my companion. And I was like, oh shoot, it's him. The Lord did hear me, and we are going to be together for the next 3 months, or month and a half. And I was just like, this is crazy. So it's true. Don't ever think that, or you will be together. Although I'm very grateful that the Lord did put us together, and this is the story that I wanted to get to, is that you can get along with anyone. We may have struggled a lot, but I learned the most from him. One, because it's a super hard area, and he was like one of my super hard companions. It's like, well, obviously I was there to learn something. And he taught me a lot about just being persistent. He taught me some cool techniques with the scriptures, as far as like how to search for them a little better. I should have brought him, but a cool organizational structure that he had set up that was beautiful, and he taught me that, and I was like, this is really cool, actually. He taught me to just be patient. Like, he was like, elder, I have my ways and you have your ways. Get it, deal with it, basically. And I had to learn to deal with it. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. We're very different people, but we did get along when we got done the work. We met that family. That never would have happened. That happened again with the companion I actually had after. He wasn't quite as difficult to get along with, but for the first 3 weeks, we hated each other. And I was like, I tried everything. But that was another lesson to me, the second time in a row, was that we are two very different people, and we both have to respect that. And whenever I'm actually driving down University, wherever that is, I think that's that way, I always like to look at the elders' faces and their companions. Sometimes I'll see some elders walking in front of their companion, or other elders walking a little, behind or whatever. And I always try to imagine what's going on in that companionship. And just by looks, like, this is obviously very superficial, but just being like, oh, I can tell by their looks that they're very two different people. And I can only imagine the dynamics of their relationship. And I think to myself, they can get along. They just have to figure out how, and realize, one, that they're two different people, and that they have to learn to respect each other for their different ideas and their things that they do differently. Don't expect two people that the Lord didn't make us to be, identical to each other. That's the beauty of life, is that we're all different. And I guess this will kind of lead into a testimony of mine, and probably one of the most important things I would leave as sort of advice. You spend the most of your time in your mission with your companion. And if there's anything, advice, testimony that I'd give to you, it would deal with your companion. You will possibly get married one day in the future, and we'll have a companion, an eternal companion. So there's obviously something very important to learn about that, and that is this: that, and it saddens me because I have a personal friend who actually, because a companion couldn't respect that he was different, I gave him sort of medical issues that didn't help him cope well because people didn't respect who he was. And it was very difficult for him to come back because people looked at him odd and just, the things that people thought of him. And he's one of my best friends. It's like, and in the mission, I had to learn this kind of the hard way by, having that companion that really taught me this. But when you meet somebody, realize that they're different. They're not at all the same as you. Learn from them all that you can. I have a strong testimony that we're all different for a very good reason, and that is to learn from each other. We don't know everything. We have to learn things from our brothers and sisters. As a missionary, you don't know everything. The Spirit does. And realize that as it prepares you for marriage,